Okay, I recorded something earlier that I may or may not upload, but I have turned off the fan to do this. So, get into what I wrote before, and to recap, it was just the beginning of what I hope will be a short story. Might be a long one. I had decided that perhaps 10,000 words might be only 5,000, might be something in the middle. I don't know. I don't have a set goal for the word count. Need a little drink there. I am still dealing with the damage to my vocal cords caused by breathing smoke for the last 2 days from the fires and the air pollution. So forgive me for that. I'll try to speak up. So, here's what I have. And we had titled the story what had we titled this story? I didn't know. Summer Swelter. Sort of taking inspiration from the pardon me, my cat is being strange, which is typical of a cat. Summer Swelter, taking inspiration from real life, although we're kind of in a more mild section of the weather at the moment. But it has been very, very warm and very smoky. All right, so here is what I have thus far. This is a dystopian future, and that's what I'll say. And here's what I've got. I've got 4 paragraphs, 3 short and 1 sort of minute and medium long. The name is Norman. It used to be Norman 98722-W. That's because I was part of an android cluster the humans named Norman. The clusters became less and less as we wore out. Parts from the home world became hard to procure, and repairmen died getting here. So we broke down, we rusted, we were scrapped. I had that same fate until last autumn. See, what are you doing? She must be hunting a fly. See, I work on a planet some 2,000 light years from the birth of all life, in the galaxy, so far as we know. That sentence still bugs me. I work on a planet some 2,000 light years from the birth of all life in the galaxy, comma, so far as we know. It's a planet that was known as Earth. It became uninhabitable years ago. Do I want to specify? Nah, I'll be okay with that for now. I never visited, but I hear from the tourists that it was a beautiful world with bright blue skies, dark blue oceans, lush forests, and it teemed with all manner of life, both flora and fauna. Tanith's world isn't bad by comparison. It's been industrialized with the future in mind. They stabilized the mining early on. Resource plans are in place, so nothing that has been taken from the flora and fauna that cannot be regrown in a See, I've got some long sentences here. They stabilized the mining early on. Resource restrictions are in place, so nothing that has been taken from the flora and fauna so nothing so everything that has been harvested can be regrown in a relatively quick amount of time. There we go, that's better. That's dash good. Resource restrictions are in place, so everything that has been harvested can be regrown in a relatively quick amount of time. Animals are controlled, plants are well managed. The government of three worlds came together for the benefit of all. Tanith's world is a very nice place to be, except for all the crime. Crime is rampant in the population centers here. That's where I come in. I was programmed for service in the subsection called law enforcement. I'm informed that there were once human beings who did this chore. They rounded up their fellows and secured them for a set period, or if the crime was considered too severe, they might decide to permanently offline that criminal. But that was reserved for the worst, most perverse, disturbing of the criminals, killers mostly. We have not seen that kind of crime here on Tanith's world. Death comes only to the very aged humans. The crimes I deal with are usually tracking missing items or persons, or confining those who cannot stop their addictions to illegal drugs, drink, or smoke. Let's just go ahead and add that. The crimes I deal with are usually tracking missing items or persons. Or confining those sometimes I confine those Sometimes I lock up those who cannot stop their addictions to illegal drugs, drink, or smoke. Those activities were long ago forbidden. Locking them up protects them and that's where I'm at. So, that's the story that I have so far. Locking them up protects them from hurting others or themselves or others. Okay, I think that's the end of that paragraph. Locking them up protects them from hurting themselves or others. They are then processed into the social services and rehabilitated. That, of course, is am I in first person or third? I'm in first person. Okay. Sometimes I forget what tense I'm in, which can be troublesome when you're writing long fiction or short, because you don't want to confuse your audience. And of course, it's a jarring thing to be in first person and then suddenly be in third person. But I'll reread this many times before it's done, and I still won't get it right. That's just me. Excuse me, I need another little drink here. Drinking water, trying to clear my voice, which is not working, but I gotta try something. Sometimes I have a little difficulty starting back up. Okay, it's 9:32. I have 375 words. 9:32. And I will probably write for 20 minutes, maybe 30, depending. See what I get done. I'm at the start of my 5th paragraph. Oh, sorry. I didn't realize my chair arms were not extended. One of the things that a modern writer needs is a chair which kind of locks them in, like the modern chairs, captain's chairs in Star Trek. When you go into red alert, the arms lock in. It seems like a kind of a crazy notion, but for writing it works. It kind of keeps you with a feeling of security. I don't know whether I said it, but when I recorded the first portion of this, which I may not release any of it, I had a fan on to kind of circulate the air, and my voice is kind of low, especially now. So it didn't record well, and it's a bit long anyway, the video. This video won't be as long, so I may just start with this one. Also, I did want to make mention of the fact that I do have a heart valve, so if you hear irregular tick or pulse, that's my heart. No worries. So, he's talking about his job. I assume it's a he, because I'm a he. Might be a she, might be an it, might be a they, might be a... Do I mention? Well, yeah, I do. I mention that they are part of a Android cluster. So, I just wonder if I shouldn't have more crime. Or maybe break out that paragraph right there. So, these are the kind of, sorry, a little thrill for the viewers at home when the power cord is jerked suddenly. And the camera goes rigid. So one of the decisions that the writer must make is, okay, where do I want to break sentence structure into a paragraph when do I want to start the next paragraph? How do I want to start the next paragraph? And there's questions of format throughout. The formatting question bugs some writers, and they don't even bother. They leave it for the editor. Since I am my own editor, I have to think about it. Okay, I've gone back and broken up the paragraphs. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the start of a 6th paragraph. The crimes I deal with are usually tracking missing items or persons. Sometimes I lock up those who cannot stop their addiction to illegal drugs, drink, or smoke. Those activities were long ago forbidden. We do not have bars on Tanith's world. We do not have smoke shops either. Unfortunately, those items are still homemade. I am charged with detecting the scents on humans and then locking them up. Confining them protects them from hurting themselves or others. They are then processed into the social services and rehabilitated. I have the next beginning of the next paragraph. That, of course, isn't part of my job. I find them and collect them. I deposit them for processing. I don't know what happens to them from there. I'm not meant to know. I am not programmed in that area. My purview is relatively narrow. So there's the first 15 minutes. I think it was, yeah, I said I started at 9:30. It's 9:45. And I'm at 450 words. But I don't know. I think I spent the first section of this doing a lot of thinking about what I wanted to write. So I spent an extra long time getting started. And I didn't even count starting the video. Hello. Hello, Pepper. My cat has joined me. Let me show you my cat. Hey, there she is. There she is. She's a rescue. And she's pretty much queen of the castle. I don't think of myself as her owner so much as she's my owner. And that works out pretty well. I don't mind. I'm a humble man with much to be humble about. So, where are we at? All right, enough distraction. How much world building do I need to do in a short story? And when do I break off to get into the action of the story? These are the times that try writers' souls. Where do I go? Where do I go? See, one of the things that I'm trying to do here is to show you, who may not yet be a writer, some of the real feet on the ground writing. It's not all rules and here's what an editor might look for, or these are the basic things to avoid. Sometimes it's just, what word comes next? And I don't know, maybe that's too basic to be of importance to you. I don't know. I don't know what might be important. If you want to be a writer, and I'll probably hammer this, if you want to be a writer, sit down and write. Gather your tools and jumpstart your imagination. Maybe you want to write a memoir. Maybe you want to write a family history. Maybe it's nothing for publication. Or maybe it's something you'd like to just self-publish with a low print run. It doesn't have to be science fiction or fantasy. It can be nonfiction. But whatever you're writing, the first rule, I think, it's only my opinion, write. Ray Bradbury said, don't think, write. And that's the lesson that I keep in mind when I'm writing. When I get stuck like I am now and I'm talking to you, what I'm trying to do is avoid the job. Okay. I think I'm going to add that paragraph to the last paragraph, and then I'm going to change things up because I feel like I'm getting too far in the weeds. It's almost 500 words, and I haven't really started to work a story. So, when you don't know where to go in a story, when you feel like you've exhausted the current direction that you've gone, start a new direction. And hopefully it won't feel jarring to the writer, to the reader, to the writer too. What I have decided is we now need to introduce a second character. And this is going to be the one that the android refers to up in paragraph 1, where he says, so we broke down, we rusted, we were scrapped. I had the same fate. Until last autumn. So down here, at the start of the next paragraph, I write, it was autumn on Tanith's world when I met her. She was a human with a habit. I think I'm going to give her more than one. She was young. My sensors concluded maybe 15 to 18. It was autumn in Tanith's world when I met her. She was a human with habits. She was young. My sensors concluded maybe 15 to 18 Terran years old. She was described by the controller as small, emaciated, violent towards herself and others, smoked tobacco and other illicit inhalants, and also drank her own homemade hooch. So now I've got to create a second character here. And I need to make her pretty ugly by comparison to the clean, wholesome android. She's gonna be thoroughly human. So now it's 10 o'clock. Wow, that 15 minutes went quick. I'm at 520 words. So there's where I'm at. The last sentence I wrote, which isn't finished, is she had a brand on her right shoulder for a gang called the Disciples, and that's where I'm at. I've got it started, and I've got it to the point where it's really beginning to take off, and that's where I'll leave it for now.